Today, we are going to talk about the evolution of geographical thought on the topic dualism and the dichotomy in geography.
The contents of dualism and dichotomy. First of all, introduction of dualism and dichotomy, 7 types of dualism and dichotomy in geography, 3 sets of concepts of dichotomy, systematic geography versus regional geography, determinism versus possibilism, modernism versus postmodernism, idiographic versus nomothetic, deductive reasoning versus inductive reasoning, physical geography versus human geography, quantitative revolution versus behavioral revolution, dichotomy, conclusion, bibliography, and acknowledgement.
The word dualism indicates dividing anything into two parts and is related to the methodology of geographical studies. It simply connotes the state of being divided. Dualism in geography is the conceptual contrast term in the methodology and it's purely related to the methodological approach in the geographical study. Actually, dualism in the geographical study is very ancient and old. It bifurcates the subject into two parts and within the same time frame and divides the subject into many branches. The concept of dualism promoted discussion, argument, and counter-argument. It's just the opposite opinion to a particular opinion. It helps to develop and rearrange the subject and diversifies the subject matter. In brief, dualism divides the subject into many branches and it's basically the conceptual ideas that are related to the methodological aspect of the geographical study. The word dualism indicates dividing anything into two parts and is related to the methodology of geographical studies. It simply connotes the state of being divided. Dualism in geography is the conceptual contrast term in the methodology and it's purely related to the methodological approach in the geographical study. Actually, dualism in the geographical study is very ancient and old. It bifurcates the subject into two parts and within the same time frame and divides the subject into many branches. The concept of dualism promoted discussion, argument, and counter-argument. It's just the opposite opinion to a particular opinion. It helps to develop and rearrange the subject and diversifies the subject matter. In brief, dualism divides the subject into many branches and it's basically the conceptual ideas that are related to the methodological aspect of the geographical study.
Systematic geography versus regional geography. Systematic geography was introduced by Alexander von Humboldt 1769 to 1859. Regional geography was introduced by Carl Ritter 1779 to 1859. Systematic geography. It is a systematic approach of phenomenon is study the world over as a whole and the identification of typological or spatial pattern is done. Regional geography. It is a regional approach. It focuses on the interaction of different culture and natural geofactor in a specific land or space. Systematic geography represents an integration of an area. Regional geography represents the isolation of an area. As an example of systematic geography, specific geographical factor is climate and agriculture. The regional geography is the study of various natural and cultural geographical factors in a region.
Determinism versus Possibilism. Determinism refers to the point of view supporting environment control on human action. On the other hand, Possibilism refers to the physical environment for humans to exploit for their benefit. The determinism generally emphasizes humans as passive agents influenced by the environmental factors that determine their attitude, decision making, and lifestyle. On the other hand, for possibilism, the emphasis is firmly placed on humans rather than nature. The scholars who supported determinism were Greek and Roman scholars. On the other hand, Lucien Febvre and Vidal de la Blache advocated and developed the system, articulately the school of possibilism.
Difference between modernism and postmodernism. Modernism was prevalent from the late 19th century and early 20th century style. Postmodernism was prevalent from the mid 20th century. Modernism was influenced by the First World War. Postmodernism was influenced by the Second World War. Modernism was based on using rational and logical means to gain knowledge since it rejected realism. Postmodernism was based on an unscientific, irrational thought process and it rejected logical think. Modernism rejected the conventional style for prose and poetry. Postmodernism deliberately uses a mixture of different styles.
Idiographic approach versus nomothetic approach. First point, idiographic approach. The inventor of the word idiographic geography is Hudson. It is as words of Hudson, geography deals with a special differentiation of phenomena. Nomothetic approach. Frederick K. Sinalfar is the introducer of this nomothetic approach. Second point, idiographic approach. He concepts geography as a study of the region. Nomothetic approach. Nomothetic science deal with systematic geography. Third point, idiographic approach. Geography is a study of the uniqueness of a region that and another region. Nomothetic approach. Geography is considered as science for its nomothetic approach. Fourth point, idiographic approach. According to Kant, geography is a descriptive taxonomic discipline rather than a science. Nomothetic approach. After Second World War, geographers such as Humboldt and many others concentrated on theoretical issues and prepared diffusion model, location theory, gravity models and geometrical models to explain geographical patterns.
Difference between deductive reasoning and inductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning is a process of reasoning that starts from general statements to reach a logical conclusion. Inductive reasoning is a process of reasoning that moves from specific observation to broader generalization. Deductive reasoning involves moving from general to specific. Inductive reasoning involves moving from specific to general. Deductive reasoning is a top-to-down approach. Inductive reasoning is a bottom-to-up approach. Deductive reasoning has to be true if the premises are true. Inductive reasoning is the truth of premises does not necessarily guarantee the truth of conclusion.
Physical geography versus human geography. Dualism of physical and human geography is as old as discipline of geography itself. The Greeks were probably the first who started dichotomy of physical and human geography. Hecataeus gave more emphasis to physical geography. Similarly, Eratosthenes and Ptolemy gave more importance to physical geography, while Strabo and his disciples were in favor of human geography. The scholars who advocates the growth of physical geography are Hecataeus, Kant, Humboldt, Darwin, Davis, Penck, and Elseking, whereas human geographers such as Herodotus, Ratzel, Miss Sample, Huntington, Ritter, Mackinder, Harris, Burgess, Carlos Ware, and Stamp related to study of human geography. Varenius was the first geographer who divided the geography into general or universal and special or particular. In the opinion of Varenius, general geography deals with the formulation of universal laws which are common for the physical geography, while the spatial and particular geography providing space for regional geography, which is more related to human geography, as spatial geography can formulate laws theories only for particular region as well as for human geography.
Here we explain about quantitative versus behavioral geography. In the years immediately following World War II, the American academic community increasingly stressed the value of physical science and mathematics. Conversely, interest in the social science, arts, and humanities declined. Accordingly, many geographers believed that in quantitative geography, they had at last found an approach that would eliminate the ambiguity that seemed to obscure the unifying theme of their discipline. So enthusiastic was their embrace of number crunching that some less devoted to the cause of quantification began to refer to the new love affair with creating complex formula in order to explain the nature of the world as the quantitative revolution. Theories such as central place theory, based on statistical and mathematical techniques, were found inadequate to explain the spatial organization of society. The economic rationality of decision making was also criticized as it does not explain the behavioral of floodplain dweller who does not leave his place despite the risk of flood. It was a psychological turn in human geography, which emphasized the role of cognitive and decision-making variables as meditating the relationship between environment and spatial behavior. The axiom of economic person who always tries to maximize his profit was challenged by Woolpert.
Dichotomy. The dichotomy is the difference between two opposite ideas or things. The dualism in geography aggravated further to such a level that some thinkers stated that physical geography and human geography are two separate entities with their own ideas, concepts, laws, and methodologies. The laws governing the physical earth cannot be the same as these governing human behavior. Hence, those two branches cannot be and should not be part of the same discipline called geography. Some even recommended considering them as two separate, independent disciplines, not merely branches. To understand the depth of dichotomy, we may go into historical development of human geography. Ritter and Rachel were among early geographers who considered man as an important agent to change existing landscape. The dichotomy of historical and human geography was sharpened in latter parts of 19th century and first of 20th century. It was under this influence that Department of Physical Geography and also another department by name Human Geography in Western world and also in Asian countries like India.
The conclusion of dualism and dichotomy. Since the inception of geography is a domain of knowledge, it has encountered several methodological issues which have given art to dualism. This was counted into dichotomy. In the late 19th century and early 20th century, the principal proponents being Hudson and Scufford. However, in recent years, there has been a gradual decline in dualism and dichotomy because of the pluralist methodology in geography. Postmodern geography emphasizes the difference different epistemologies have given the values which promotes the pluralism in geography. Bibliography. We are taking information mainly from Google, and our respected professor also helped us to do this beautiful presentation, and we get some information from the book Majidhushen, The Geographical Thought. First of all, thank you all the group members to cooperate with us, and I would like to express my special thanks of gratitude to all the teachers of geography department as well as who gave us this golden opportunity to do the wonderful project on the topic dualism and dichotomy.